Check. 1 2, check 1 2. How you doing? Greetings. Question mark, exclamation point from Salt Lickers. Okay. Welcome to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Everybody get on in here. Get on in the stream. Doing a regular show. I know I said that I might do a book reading today, but there's, too many other things to talk about. First of all, greetings. Where's the ark? Where's the first of all, tomorrow, I don't know if I can find the link. Tomorrow at noon, 12 p.m. Hold on one second. I can't seem to find this. Here we go. I don't know if there's an actual link for it yet. Is there a link for it? I don't know. Well, I can't seem to find a link. Anyways, tomorrow there's going to be a fundraiser for Shonda, right, guys? I talked about this. Beauty and the Boomer. If you're familiar with that show, there's going to be a bunch of people talking and performing on the fundraiser. Jesse Jett is going to be performing. I did post this on my profile page on on X. It's on my profile page on X. There's a bunch of people that are going to be involved in it. Who else is going to be there? Misty, Winston, Steve from AM Wake Up, Fiorella, Pasta, Amber King, Kit Cabello. I don't know who Manila Chan is. Anyway, so that's going to be happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific. So if you all want to hang out, come. I'm actually opening the show, so at 12. At noon, I'm going to be performing some songs. So that'll be exciting, right? For someone. It could be exciting for me. Since I don't really perform like live or in front of people much these days. I perform a whole bunch for myself in my garage, but do a lot of recording. Speaking of recording, I probably will be playing some songs from a new project that is coming out imminently. I can't find a link. Yeah, I don't see a link. Anyways, it's at 12 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time, 12 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be performing some songs that are going to be on this project that I'm releasing. And Salt Lickers, there are no more mice because I have a cat now, and the cat got rid of all the rats and the mice. I've seen nary a rat in a few weeks because I have a cat that is doing duty, is on the case. Yeah, so I have a new project out. Be playing some songs for that tomorrow. I probably will have another announcement tomorrow around that music project. I can't really say too much today, but coming out soon. But if you want to tune in and hear a song or two from this project tomorrow, then I will be playing tomorrow. All right, cool. And so yeah, and tune in. A bunch of it's fundraiser for Shonda. She's battling cancer. All right. So I said I was going to do book reading today, and I wanted to just talk about what's happening because there's a huge hurricane going on and other things. Also, so I might do a book reading this weekend. I'm doing the thing tomorrow at noon, but maybe Sunday, possibly Sunday, I'll do a book reading. We're live on Rockfin, Rumble, and on YouTube. I know it's taking people a little time to get in here because I've been doing a lot of uploads and not a lot of live streams this week. So I know it's taking people a little time to get here, but anyways. All good. Let's do I have any other public service announcements? I did get Lou. Thank you for the PayPal. Lou. Appreciate you. I don't think I got any other donations overnight. Other than that, I think that was it. I don't know. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So what's up? What's up, Chris? What's going on? All the people in the chats. Hello, coming in. Rockfin people. I see a couple of people watching on Rockfin. Don't be shy. Excuse me. All right. So Hurricane Helene is doing a lot of damage. There are a couple of funny reactions to Helene. This is a man who is live streaming from his living room during the hurricane. And this kind of indicates.
But at least I'm not electrocuting myself anymore. We have we got the chlorine going, so try to disinfect some of this nastiness. That's good.
That's ridiculous.
Florida man doing Florida things. By the way, please visit hornblasters.com. I'm located here in Tampa, Florida. Bro, get out. What are you doing? Yeah, I got the chlorine going, so it's good. We don't take anything serious. We're Florida, man. What am I going to do? I just checked the weather in between my lives, and it looks like at 2 a.m. the water might start going down. But in the meantime, it's going up. The foundation of the house, like all this water's bubbling underneath the foundation. So that's not good. I think that's like how sinkholes happen. The water is smashing up against the window. When I open it, it gets really choppy in here. It's still coming in through the garage. I'm getting annihilated by mosquitoes already. But, go live on TikTok, oh, damn, my light's out there floating around. Whoopsie. Oh, so if that light is floating around, that means the cactus is done for. Man, all those switches, all my light switches are going to get wet. You can see them right now. I got like the smart light switches.
Look how like.
And I'm going to have to replace all those. That's a bummer. Oh, well, it's a bummer. My buddy Shane, his house got wiped out too, I heard. So that sucks. By the way, if you like.
Yeah, a lot of people got wiped out. Absolutely wiped out. This was a massive, massive storm that I think is it official that it is a category? Hold on, we're going to stop this here. Is it official that it's a Cat 5? Hold on. I need to check this. I know it got to Cat 4. And I saw somewhere else that they that they called it a Cat 5, but maybe not. Cat 4. That's a big storm. This is a weatherman losing it, talking about Helene. We're just, it's good that people can have a sense of humor around this. This is funny.
Night in Florida and the Tampa area, and guys, it's not looking good. 105-mile-per-hour winds, and look at the name of the hurricane, Helene. Coincidentally, that's my ex-wife's name. Our divorce was finalized this week, and if this thing is anything like her, it's going to take your car, it's going to take your house, it's going to ruin your damn life, all right? Probably both the neighbors too, but I digress. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry to put my air out on the air, but it's been a rough week. And guess what? If you're in this area, right here, the Tampa area, you're going to have a rough week as well, okay? And by the way, another coincidence, her mom and dad, Helene's mom and dad are from Tampa. So, hey, John, Mark, you're going to feel it too. You're going to feel the wrath of Helene like I have for the past 4 years. It's going to be aggressive. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe,
so many Mama Lukes in Florida.
If we're lucky, this thing is going to catch some of the illegals that the Biden-Harris administration let in and fling these Mexicans back into Mexico, right?
What?
You want to talk about deportation? That'd be the best way to do it. And look at this. Guys, this is not good, all right? Tampa. Why the hell are you living in Tampa anyway? Let's be honest. Who wakes up and goes, you know, honey, let's move to Tampa? Helene's mom and dad, that's who. And it's coming, guys. So this thing's going to be aggressive. By the way, I've never even seen purple before. Have we ever seen purple on the show? This is not good. And what the hell is that? What is, this can't be good. You know what that looks like? That right there? That looks like Satan's butthole. And there he is. And if you live there, you're going to feel the wrath, just like how I felt the wrath of Helene. So Robert, Mark, thank you guys so much for raising a daughter that ruined my life. If you're in Tampa, get the hell out. I'm done.
Okay, that had to be a parody, obviously, but it was funny. You're getting a deluge, Bella? I bet. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real, but it's really funny. I doubt that's real. I doubt that they would let him continue going on like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of good parody videos out there floating around Twitter, if you or X or whatever you want to call it. So, anyways, the storm is big, is a big one, doing some damage. This is in Boone, which is in Georgia. Pretty sure. There's a bunch of video from Boone that I saw out there. And the cars just go a-floating away. Floating on down. Meanwhile, in Mexico, there's another hurricane, John, that is striking the west coast of Mexico. So we have two hurricanes going at the same time, which is completely normal, right? That always happens. Mexico Hurricane John has been causing devastating flooding around Acapulco, Guerrero, Mexico. Remember all the people that were like, yeah, man. Remember that last year's hurricane that just whacked Acapulco? Lots of flooding in Asheville, North Carolina. Remember the big hurricane that smashed Acapulco last year? And they were like, yeah, man, they hate Acapulco. They want to make it a 15-minute city or whatever. So they steered a storm over into here to destroy everything. Here it comes again. If they really, I don't understand the logic of that one. Because I don't understand the logic of it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. and they're smashing it again. Apparently, they who are busy doing other things, by the way, like figuring out how to drop more bombs on brown people, figuring out how to lock up dissidents, figuring out how to censor you, on the internet, figuring out how to get you onto a digital money platform. But Salt Laker says it was a show of force. Mexico had recently declared they wanted to outlaw weather modification in their country. Maybe. They did say that. There's actually, well, if you're keeping score, there's a lot of states in the U.S. that have bills either passed or in the legislature that are dealing with outlawing weather modification or geoengineering, quite like a lot of states. So I guess we're going to have to send them some weather too, or something. I don't know. Apparently there is no way to stop the genocide, Gregory. I can tell you that voting for Kamala Harris is not going to stop it. But that's what people think. Right? And voting for Trump is not going to stop it either. So let's just make that clear. Just making it clear. It's probably not going to stop either way. It's not going to stop until some other force comes into play. I mean, Israel is collapsing. A lot of yes, we could stop sending bombs and money. Israel is under intense economic pressure. And also, we are supporting them, but a lot of other countries have stopped supporting them economically and or blocked or banned trade with Israel. And there's a lot of international pressure on Israel. And there's also pressure from within. The people in the country, a lot of people in the country don't like what's going on. By the way, remember, Netanyahu was almost going to be ousted pre-October 7. And a lot of people theorize that all of this is just to keep him in power and to, obviously push forward. It's multi-layered, multifaceted. Pushes forward several agendas while also keeping Netanyahu in power because, a wartime, we'll call him president or prime minister, is, less likely to be ousted. But people don't like what's going on, and people don't like Netanyahu. People within Israel do not like what's going on. And there are quite a few people who are suggesting that Israel could just actually collapse under the weight of its own evil. And hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully that happens sooner than later, and so that less people will have to die. It would be really great if less people had to die. By the way, they are carpet bombing Beirut right now under the pretense of getting the old Hezbollah up and out of there. But first, we're going to look at a few more things around the extreme weather, and then we'll talk about that. Helene's Cat 4 landfall gives the U.S. a record 8 Cat 4 or 5 Atlantic hurricane landfalls in the past 8 years. 7 of them being continental U.S. landfalls. That's as many Cat 4 and 5 landfalls as occurred in the prior 57 years. Just to underscore that extreme weather is a normal thing these days. It's not a once in a 1,000 year, 500 year, whatever you want to call it, event anymore. There are a lot of people protesting, and they've got the National Guard, they've got the Army out in New York. Which is, exactly what they said Trump would do if he were president. Take away your civil rights, take away your rights, and take away your right to protest. And, not saying that he wouldn't be down for that too. He would be down for that. But we're talking about the Biden administration, which is the administration currently in power. And a Democratic governor in New York, stomping the protests with the military. So there's that. Oh, how I get sidetracked. People have been using the term car soup to describe the now common sight of cars floating around in extreme floods. It's fittingly absurd and sort of ha-ha, but we've now reached house soup, and that is extremely effed up. This is Yellow Dot reposting AccuWeather. But yes, house soup.
Oh, there goes.
Very loud video, sorry. So people of Rockfin, you guys are hanging in there. Very good. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. People of Rumble, you hanging out. You're good. Look at this.
Oh, there goes.
Top of the house. Rooftop flooding. Europe just can't catch a break too with their extreme flooding, which has been kind of, again, all summer long if you've been paying attention. Remember, those extreme flooding events that used to happen every 500,000 years? But it was just one flood, not like a one flood all summer long. Or not several floods. Anyways, you remember the football, this is from Matthew Todd, remember the football fans screaming abuse at the Just Stop Oil protester. Right. In the UK, they do get out and block roads. They try. They do something. And people get really, really super mad at them. How dare you? We're just trying to go to work and there's babies and cars trying to go to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And but I think what they're trying to do is draw the attention to the fact that things are not, your car is going to just be floating down a river in some car soup if you think you're going to keep on doing the things you need to do while everything around you is getting wrecked by extreme flooding. This is AFC Telford United football ground in UK. This is from yesterday. So those bloody protesters out there protesting the football game and getting in the way of our enjoying our anyways, that's wild. Okay, moving on to what's going on in the Middle East. Briefly, if you're an American, I want you to think very hard about what these images in South Beirut remind you of, huh? I immediately know what they remind me of. What say you? This is supposedly Israel striking Hezbollah, but this another person posted the same video that saying they're just carpet bombing the city. This is Beirut. Israel's getting busy, y'all. Busy. We gotta just bomb everybody. There are actually people out there. It's always a little shocking and surprising to me, but there are people out there that super support this kind of stuff. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry. I didn't get the whole link. And I don't understand. I don't understand. And I'm talking about independent, like, alternative news people out there. And I'm not in contact with like a particular. They're more like right leaning, I guess. But there's a faction of right wingers out there that are like super pro Israel, and they're like, yeah, you get them, and these Hamas people are the terrorists, and get them, and they're bad, and Iran is they're so bad, we should bomb them now. Like, there's a whole group of people that think like that. Let me tell you that Trump is one of those people, by the way. And it's just like, what? When I anyways, Netanyahu, well, you guys were, somebody was in the chats, people were talking about how do they stop the genocide, or who's going to confront this? What can we do? Can we boycott? What can we do? Well, so when Netanyahu visits the U.S., everybody stands up and cheers like good little coward lemmings, because all of the politicians in the U.S. Congress, including the president, are absolutely bought and paid for by Israel. They absolutely, sit up and clap like seals, like trained seals, to clap for Netanyahu because they're pathetic, cowardly, traitorous, treasonous, absolutely a disgrace to humanity and to the nation. Everyone in Congress is a disgrace to humanity and everyone and the nation, and they should be turned out of office immediately, scrubbed from the rolls of Congress immediately. And that probably won't happen, but anyways, but in the UN, everybody walks out. Very different. Right now, most countries walk out of Netanyahu's speech at the UN, leaving him to talk to an empty hall. Compare this to the subservient Congress. Beautiful, beautiful. Somebody saying something, doing something. And somewhere on the internet, somebody's going, "Oh, the anti-Semitism of it all." To which I say, shut up. There's a better video of, hold on, I'm trying to find another video of Netanyahu. Well, this is just a picture. Okay, hold on. There's a better video of this. I'm going to find it. Hold on one second. Here we go. Somewhere in here. There were so many videos of it, and now I can't find it. Hold on. My God, just the flooding. I mean, I could just spend 2 hours showing you flooding videos from Helene and surrounding areas. What? This is crazy. What is going on? Hold on, I gotta save that. Where is it? Somebody help me. Help me help myself. Where is this video of Netanyahu? Netin. Here we go. All right, this is a better video of the walkout, I think.
Gentlemen, order.
It's short.
Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order.
That's great. I mean, at the very least, you can shame this fool. At the very least, you could shame this absolute psychopathic monster, Netin. And here's Lee Camp indicating doing a good dive, when we're not going to watch this whole thing, on the fact that Israel knew
proof, not just one.
Israel knew that October 7th was going to happen, and you know, it's kind of in the lines of like September 11th. It's like you had all this intel and information, and you kind of knew it was going to happen, which leaves you one to actually ask the very logical and intelligent question, like, well, maybe you wanted it to happen. Duh.
One or two pieces of proof, but a long list of proof that Israel knew October 7th was coming, and this was posted by Censored Men. 1 year ago, Israeli military and intelligence officials obtained a 40-page document which outlined Hamas's battle plan for October 7th. Israeli authorities codenamed the document Jericho Wall. The document did not set a date for the attack, but when compared to October 7th, it becomes extremely clear that Hamas carried out the attack almost exactly as the blueprint showed. The document called for drones to knock out security cameras and automated machine guns along the border, a barrage of rockets at the beginning of the attack, and Hamas fighters to pour into Israel via paragliders, motorcycles, and on foot. All of that took place on October 7th. The blueprint that Israel obtained was almost identical to October 7th. They also said in the blueprint that the aim was to take roughly 200 to 250 hostages, which was almost exactly how many they took. It was like 200 some hostages. Hamas also had information on sensitive Israeli data. This would be another piece of evidence that somebody within Israel was involved. The fact that Hamas had so much access to sensitive data. They knew details about the location and size of Israeli military forces, details on Israeli communication hubs, details on key Israeli military bases. This led to Israeli officials suspecting leakers within Israel's security establishment. The 40-page document circulated widely among the Israeli military and intelligence leaders, but they claim that they thought the attack was such a magnitude that was beyond Hamas's capabilities. Now, we can move the debate. You can move the goalpost as to did Israel know that October 7th was going to happen? And you can move that to did they know but just think it wouldn't happen? They knew all the details. They knew every detail. And I would say that's an impossibility. There's no way Israel knows every detail of what's going to happen and chooses not to stop any of it. And the idea that they don't have a crazy number of...
Especially considering how, the way the military and the police force operates these days, which is like if there's ever a threat, it's just met with overwhelming, like, oh my God, right? The capabilities of the Israeli military, everybody knows, right? They're not really defensive. They don't have a right. They take their right to defend themselves to the point of we have the right to offensively strike anybody who we even imagine might be an enemy combatant or somebody trying to threaten us, right? So to have all this intel and go like, nah, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, exactly. The 9/11 playbook. Exactly.
Spies within Hamas and a crazy amount of surveillance of Hamas means that Israel would also know when things were ramping up. And there's evidence of that as well. By the way, this is the New York Times article. I've shown this New York Times article probably 2 or 3 times on this show, saying Israel knew Hamas's attack plan more than a year ago. That's from the New York Times. Even the liberal New York Times wants you to know Israel knew about this attack a year ago. Okay, so then here's 3 months prior. In July of last year, a veteran analyst with Unit 8200, Israel's signals intelligence agency, warned that Hamas had been conducting training exercises that were very similar to what was outlined in Jericho Wall. So 3 months before, they go, hey, they're behaving just like the blueprint thing he said they would. Hey, they're doing the things. They're getting ready for the thing in the blueprint that we read, that we all read. You remember? You remember the thingy? The analyst said, quote, I utterly refute that the scenario is imaginary. The Hamas training exercise fully matched the content of Jericho Wall, she said. Quote, it is a plan designed to start a war, she added. Quote, it's not just a raid on a village, unquote. However, a colonel in Israel's Gaza division brushed off her concerns and said the exercise was part of a totally imaginative scenario and that it wasn't anything that Hamas could pull off. I mean, you guys can let me know. I want to know your take on whether Israel just knew every detail, like literally every detail of what was going to happen October 7th, and yet at every level of the Israeli military, the Israeli government that knew, at every level, no one decided to take it seriously.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, does it? Now, does it? And yeah, we're not getting really any viable options. Hold on one second here.
I just have to
I just thought about something today around Trump and RFK Jr. like ending up supporting Trump. I'm wondering like if that was actually by design that he picked. I'm just throwing things out there. This is just, you can let me know whether you think that Trump or the Trump team actually operates on, a level of like chess moves, but and some people might think that's laughable, and some people might think like, totally 4D level chess, bro. But he picked Vance as his VP, and Vance is a very like insidery paid for, he's kind of like he's not what you would call an outsider or a rebel rouser or or even a populist for that matter. So what, maybe Trump picking RFK Jr. as a running mate would have been like too much, right? It would have been like 2 targets instead of 1, right? It might have been too much. It might have been too head explodey. I'm just thinking in it like, I just thought for a second, like, okay, what if I'm in a strategy session with a Trump team, and you're like, yeah, you can't pick RFK, you can't tap RFK Jr. or ask him to be your running mate, because then that would be too much for the establishment to, like, they might, it would be like, oh my God. So you pick Vance, who's a complete like empty vessel robot, and then you get RFK to back you, and you're gonna have him head up some kind of transition team or something like that. I don't know. Just a thought. But maybe that's a smarter thing to do than actually pick RFK as your running mate. Just a thought. But either way, RFK even being on Trump's team doesn't really give me a lot of hope, because Trump has pretty much proven that he's just genuinely a puppet of power regardless, right? So maybe this is just absorbing some actual effective person into his campaign and then neutralizing that effective person once he gets into office, if he is elected into office, right? Which is what I think is that's the most likely scenario. This is Butch Ware, VP, Green Party, talking about the lack of statement on Marcellus Williams being executed, right? He's telling you, yeah, Kamala Harris, who's, supposed to be a hero for black people and ladies, and is not even speaking up about this injustice, which goes to show you the actual depth of her campaign, which is zero depth, right? There is absolutely zero depth in the Harris campaign. It's like, say things that are convenient in the moment, and make people feel like you really care. And that's just, the politicians are good at that. They're actors. We're just all Americans here. We all want to come together. We all share the same hopes and dreams and fears, and every day we get up and we look at our children and we want a better future. See, I could do that too. I could be a politician. We're really just all the same, and we all want the same things. And we're, at the heart of it all, we're just American, right? That's just all she does, is just say some bullshit like that. And, she doesn't give a flying fuck if you actually look at what she does.
Observe a moment of silence for Imam Marcellus Khalifa Williams, who was put to death yesterday by this corrupt imperialist state. And we heard nothing from the black woman who seeks to lead this country into the next phase, right? We heard nothing from the Biden-Harris regime, people who could at least speak, even if there isn't an immediate federal mechanism for clemency. We have a massive void of moral leadership in this country. Every effort to protect Team Blue, to protect the Democrats from facing accountability for the evil that their own hands have wrought, is equally evil. If you are trying to shield them from the electoral consequences of 200,000 plus deaths in Gaza, the electoral consequences of 11 months of genocide, of increasing police murders in every single year since they have been in power, in sending troops in riot gears in Democratic-controlled cities, Democratic-controlled states, to crack kids' heads like they did at UCLA, like they sent troops in riot gear to my own campus at UCSB, then you are part of the problem. Wake up and unplug from the propaganda machine. Everyone is fear-mongering around Trump as though fascism is not already here.
Yep. Well, and that's just a replay of, remember Obama cracking Occupy Wall Street protesters. I remember that very well. I wasn't really, I wasn't as politically awake at that moment. I was kind of like in the middle of doing something else in my life, but I was like, there was a period in my life when I was, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and when I got sober, I was like, oh man, I got a lot of running to do, like I got a lot of catching up to do. And so I had to, when I got sober, I was like, had kind of barely anything at all going on in my life. And so I had to like really like, turn on the gas. And so I was kind of like all through the, I remember that was kind of during the Bush years, the W years. And, that was, horrific enough. And obviously like I had, thoughts and feelings about that, but I just wasn't like, I wasn't clued in. I was just clued into like kind of getting my shit together. And even when Obama was elected, I voted for Obama. But what I noticed though, what stood out to me is when Obama took office, they violently evicted the Occupy Wall Street people from, famously New York and LA, right? And it was all over the country. There were Occupy Wall Street protests, literally everywhere. Lots of small cities and towns had, a few people out there with an Occupy Wall Street sign camped in a park. And that was, it was a very prevalent movement. And yeah, I remember them just like Gestapoing the shit out of the protesters in LA. They just came in, they just moved, they were like, nope, today's the day, you're going. And the police came in and just started cracking heads. And, that's exactly what they're doing to the protesters now. And doing it under the guise of saying that Jewish people don't feel safe on the campuses, and these people are anti-Semites, or they might be actually funded or controlled by, like, all this just wild accusations, which are not true on any level, right? Because it's kind of the same thing it's the same thing that happened around when Trump was elected the first time. They were saying, well, everybody's been brainwashed by this, our Russian disinformation. When it was really, no, actually people want something different. People can think for themselves. People can see the writing on the wall. People can see that there's an issue with the country and there's problems and there's like and we don't like what's going on, so we're going to vote for Trump. I don't know, just as a, let's see what happens. Even that. But, so it definitely wasn't, Russian propaganda, disinformation, misinformation, or, it wasn't the Russian bots, so it's just, right. And that's what they're doing now around people who feel correctly and deeply that what we are doing is wrong. And they're trying to smear them as, robots or functionaries or minions of some evil entity, right, out there that has just, right. Anyways, and late day, guys, if you if you want to repost, reshare, do that. If you want to support this show, because this show really needs your support to keep on going. If you enjoy the content here that comes to you Monday free 99, there's a lot of links in the description box. Direct donation links are absolutely the best way to go. Like, I encourage you not to tip through YouTube, Rockfin, or Rumble. I encourage you to please use the direct donate links, because they don't get lost that way. When you support me on YouTube, Rockfin, or Rumble, it's most likely just going to get lost, or most of it will get eaten. Most of it will get taken. So if you want to make sure that the support that you give me goes directly to me, please use the direct donate links in the description box. Many of you already support the show over and over again, and you know who you are, and I do appreciate you. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, this is well, yeah, there's always something else. Well, this is Trump showing you that he's, this idea that Trump is going to stop. I don't know. There's conflicting messages around Trump wanting to stop the Ukraine war and maybe even, hasten some kind of peace in the Middle East. I don't know. But here he is, sounding like everything like the warmonger that Kamala Harris is. So, I just don't believe. It's hard to know what to believe about what this person says,
President and a former president and a leading candidate. I'm the leading candidate by far to be the next president. And that leading candidate was under threat. If I was president and the candidate was under threat, any candidate, Republican or Democrat, and by the way, I want to thank the Democrats because they just increased funding for the Secret Service, who worked very hard. They increased funding for the Secret Service. And
thanks, Democrats.
Nobody will believe this. It was a unanimous vote. Republicans, every single Republican, every single Democrat present voted.
Because there's always, 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 always funding available for police and military.
In favor. That was the first unanimous vote we've seen in a long time, and that's to increase the funding of the Secret Service. So I thank everybody in Congress. But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that.
Okay.
And there would be no more threats. There would be no more threats.
Okay. Threatening Iran with blowing them to smithereens. Michael Tracy correctly calls this unhinged. He said there's no more overused adjective to describe Trump's rhetoric than unhinged, but this is genuinely unhinged. It is. Absolutely. And lastly, here's Nico House. I don't know. Just pointing out the empty rhetoric of Kamala Harris one more time.
And did an interview all by herself like a big girl. But once she opened her mouth, unfortunately for her, we were immediately reminded why Tim Walz had to sit beside her in the first interview. I know that some of you might have been expecting some riveting policy discussion about the specifics of her plans to save America's economy and guide us on a path forward in the international community. And if that's what you were actually expecting, then don't watch the interview because you're going to be very disappointed. And don't take my word for it. Stephanie Ruhle, the journalist who conducted the interview, actually said, I know that people might get upset because she didn't give clear, direct answers, but they shouldn't have expected that because we're not talking about clear or direct issues.
And one could watch that and say, well, she didn't give a clear, direct answer. That's okay, because we are not talking about clear or direct issues.
She once again reminded us that she believes in the potential of the U.S.
That is some high level, pretzel logicking there.
We can see what's possible. We have an incredible work ethic.
And the spirit of the U.S.
We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams.
And the inspiration of the U.S.
We have to guard that spirit. Let it always inspire us. Let it always be the source of our optimism, which is that spirit that is so uniquely American.
But not to worry, because it sounded like she played words with friends before the interview in order to sound presidential.
And looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing.
Holistically. A bunch of times. She said that a bunch of times. I'm not really sure. That might have been like the word that helped her win against her friends, so that might be why she was so stuck on holistically. But like, if you were hoping that she would say something about what happened to Marcellus Williams from her perspective as a former prosecutor and the potential future president of the U.S., yeah, that shit, no, hell no. Maybe you were expecting her to address the fact that Tony Blinken, under her administration, committed perjury by lying to Congress in order to make sure they did not stop sending weapons to Israel to commit genocide in Gaza. Yeah, that didn't get discussed either. It's like Stephanie Rule said. They didn't talk about specifics because they don't care about specifics. Because Kamala doesn't know any specifics about how to save the country. Because it's probably not even her job to know specifics, because she ain't gonna be running the country even if she does win. But I can specifically tell you that I'ma specifically not vote for her because she is specifically trash, and I'm specifically over the duopoly, the Democrats and the Republicans, and all their bullshit, honestly. And she can specifically stick that in whatever specific pipe she wants to and smoke it, while she's listening to Tupac and Snoop Dogg in her college dorm room.
Good
so
stuff.
Kamala Harris.
Good stuff as always from Nico House. All right, guys. That does it for me. One more time, tune in tomorrow. Beauty and the Boomer fundraiser for Shonda. I don't have a link, but just if you guys know where their YouTube channel is, or what, or the Rockfin channel, I know y'all can find it, but I'll be on at 12 p.m. Pacific time for a couple of minutes there. All right. Hope to see you there. And otherwise, I'll probably see you, if I don't see you on Sunday, I'll see you on Monday. Okay. All right. What's this? Also, Trailer Park Pundit. Yes, Trailer Park Pundit. Yes. Thank you. Trailer Park Pundit, Roar Media, Beauty and the Boomer. Roar Media is definitely on Rockfin. And yeah, check all those places. They'll be live streaming tomorrow starting at noon. I'll be the first performer. All right. Thanks, y'all. Until next time, peace.